dumelang ra amogela mo go Daily Theatre on SABC1 nna ka lebitso ke nna Nicolette wa ga Mashile ngwana wa kwa Bushbuckridge Mapulaneng ya re tshwareleng sona leleme la matsogo ke Sesi Andiso wa ga Kebashe le gone mo sa mo ga Daily Theatre ba re lebella taba ya go katana but also go bolaya and understanding gore na what happens when we are faced with situations of femicide, gender-based violence, and when does no become no? Because it should be at all times. Now we know Stats SA the cases of rape in South Africa have risen by 3.9%. 2,771, and I want to repeat that number because it's such an important number to remember at all times. 2,771 yabathu basadi babulwang in South Africa in the last 12 months period up to September last year. Now we need to start having a very, very serious conversation. It's no longer taba ya gore re ka sa blabla ka yona ke ntho go seba seba go dintlong. We need to be asking ourselves gore na go tshaba ga basadi le bana and actually all feminine bodies in South Africa. And being afraid of either being raped, being sexually assaulted, being assaulted, and then being killed. What are we going to be doing about that?
And kanjalo njengoba seshilo go-6 Nicolette ukuthi lamhlanje ibaleke kakhulu ukuthi thina sibe part of this conversation because i-SABC last week ngolesibili launch a campaign which means no means no and kakhulukazi sifuna uku-understand ukuthi njenge-South Africa do we understand ichaza ukuthini bekuthiwa no means no and nakhona njengoba bayiqalile le campaign it's all to give abantu besifazane ingane South Africa as a whole an opportunity to be able to raise their voices. This show today is about giving you the chance when usekhaya mbukeli ithuba ukuthi na usho ukuthi yazini I've seen this happen to Uma. I've heard this happen to Baba. Ngoba sapha saphela isizwe sithulile senzani. Of course ngegama mina Melodogamia Ukolnusmia and of course this gives us the chance today to be able to sit and speak a bit to our guests that are going to be in studio. We're going to be speaking to of course Cisnewo and Tite who is the brand manager from SABC Education who's going to come in and share a story. But even more so, we've got a young lady who's 39 years old and she's going to be sharing how she was raped under 16 and again in her 20s.
And I think, Melody, it's so important to have this conversation. But November, 16 days of activism. But it's important that this conversation does not die out. And it's important that we start actually putting shame amongst those people, but they keep perpetrating the situation. Because for me, that's really important. But you know what, Melody, as we always say on Daily Theatre, we can join a conversation on any of our social media pages. And remember, you can also call us on 011-339-1315. But for now, let's speak to our studio audience. And I think, Melody, you know, in light of campaign at SABC, hearing no means no. Maybe Pumolo, when as a young man, why no?
No means no. I think in understanding what no means, it has to be tied with consent.
Okay.
Consent is freely given by one party.
Yeah.
When there's mutual consent, there's a meeting of minds on both parties.
Yeah.
So now when one party says no, that collapses that whole agreement, that whole engagement between the two of us. This culture of continuing to pursue someone after that agreement or that preface of the agreement has been given needs to be stopped.
But what type of a no do you need to hear? Because sometimes that no, no, sorry, is there a difference in meaning between those two no's?
I don't think there should be, but realistically there is.
Yeah.
It's an unfortunate circumstance where a party or a person has to say no a number of times.
Yeah.
And the more serious the no, the more serious the person becomes in saying, I understand that this is now infringing on your space.
Okay. And maybe perhaps we can bring in Kebet. Kebet, no is serious. No ya kudala. Eating. Yeah.
Hauna no ya go tshameka and hana no iring ngare motho mongwe ya m confuse.
Yeah.
No is a no. There's a big difference between a yes and a no.
Yeah.
And then there's a very huge difference. No binale the marking mafoko yamai 2 and then yes in al amai 3, so you can't get confused. And no is a no. It has to, and it doesn't matter papa gore ke a tshega or ke kwatile.
So perhaps maybe, and let me throw it to you, Melody, because sometimes another person I or no because I want you to try harder. Kapa ke no so that I can negotiate, you can negotiate that no. You know?
So I think Jenge out to understand it. Sometimes Thomas and Boy Shela, you're gonna ask her out to like, hey, Ata no melody no. And it comes as the out if I walk away because she said no, ngipar, you know, because I didn't try hard enough. And I mean it's something that we've normalized.
Yes.
But the problem becomes also in that same season, Uguti, when she does say no seriously, we still think it's that attractive, I want to speak to you, no.
Yes.
But this is where I get to bring in Abasha. Siswam, I need to understand from your perspective, how have we allowed this no that is generalized and confused it with this no that now you're abusing me, you're in my space? How have we allowed it to be normal if you understand that?
All right. Dumelang, I'm Lutfia Dean from Wits University. I'm going to speak from a feminist activist perspective. So I think the first thing and the most important thing I want to emphasize is no means no.
Yeah.
Whether I'm laughing, as my latter speaker had said, whether I'm serious about it, I feel like, and now I'm going to bring in the male dominance perspective, as I said. So when we talk about this, we need to realize that males will always, unfortunately, have that toxic masculinity, that hyper masculinity to say, oh, she wants me to coerce. And that's how most rape cases happen. That's how GBV escalates. Because we move from the stance of saying, oh, she said no, we've been dating for 4 months, I'm entitled to now get what I want. If I don't, I'm able to hit her to get her to give me that what I want to have. So we need to move away from the rhetoric of saying, let's coerce, let's get her to change her mind, let's make a second guess.
Let me ask a question. Do you know where we started with this culture? Because, I mean, I think everything comes to life because there was a development. Do you think maybe it was at home? Because, I mean, you'd ask your mother for money, she'd say no, and then you come like, ma, please, ma, and she would give it to you, right? But do we know where this culture starts from?
I thoroughly do know where this culture comes from. Being an Indian woman and also relating very well to black culture, because I am a comrade, I think I've literally pinpointed it. It is our families at home, our customs and our traditions. Indian and black culture is very dominant within, you know, a girl must be in the kitchen, a boy must be outside with dad. And if Malume is calling you when you're 4 years old and 5 years old, you must go there. You can't be sitting by your mother's feet while she's busy cutting. And then you go to Malume and he starts doing these things and molesting you and touching you. And we don't teach our daughters and our children from a young age that you're allowed to say no. Your mother doesn't have to push you from the side and say, Ngenapi, go, go, go. That thing must stop. If you're not comfortable with being around Malume, you're not. And that's the reality. So we need to stop forcing children from that young age and embedding that culture of not allowing them to say no. And then another thing.
Ooh, gotta go. But we can hear already with Samantha Basha, they feel very strongly about this. But let's quickly go to an ad break. Who are going to educate us about our topic today.
Molweni Mzansi Afrika, igama lami nguLudwekazi Ndlazi, and I am at your service. If you ever taken time to listen to the song Senzeni Na, Senzeni Na, namhlanje we're here at SABC, sizova in a campaign in No Means No. We're about to hear about this and see what exactly people think we can do to move forward. Masibaba Bati. Namhlanje we are looking at the No Means No campaign. What do you think this means for you?
Wow, this is a very, very important initiative for us because our everyday lives, we realize that a lot of ladies, a lot of females, nobody actually takes them into consideration at any point, and they get abused, they get beaten down. And we as the SABC are basically standing here and saying no, no means no. We are running this campaign and we want to make sure that everybody becomes aware of the fact that this is something that we will not accept, we will not agree with at any point.
You know, we always have this debate consistently of why we keep insisting on having more and more campaigns. The reality is, for anything to change, we need to keep it on people's tongue. We need to keep it on the country's agenda. So for me, No Means No campaigns is an effort to keep it in our faces that this is a reality that South Africa is facing, and it's not something that we are allowed to forget about. So campaigns for me are very crucial. As much as we might sometimes have conversations about, oh my God, all we do is talk and talk and talk, everything starts from speaking, and this is actually taking action.
There's this stigma around you must just sit quietly and nobody says anything about it. That is incorrect. I feel the more people speaking about it, the more shame that is brought to these perpetrators. And then tomorrow, is never going to do it again. I mean, look at abantu abafana no R. Kelly. They're everywhere.
Abantwana nabafazi bahlukunyezwa yonke imihla and elinani liyonyuka. Xa ucinga wena yenziwa yintoni lento ba elinani labantu abahlukunyezwayo lunyuke?
Look, I think it's just all about ignorance. We are getting awareness like these every day, and the messages is out there every day. It's coming from all different spheres and different dimensions of South Africa.
Obaba need to come in forward, because they are the ones that are meant to actually protect Omama, protect Ingane. So if they're not in the foreground, the whole entire problem is a
This campaign is not only focusing on women, it's exactly addressing the perpetrators, which are men. And even earlier today, we had male who were participating in the campaign. And going forward, we are running radio and TV promos, and equally we do have male participating in that. Throughout the year, we will be sending the message to male more than women.
SABC Education is saying that men must come on board because they are the ones who are causing all these things. So if you can look at that, we've tried to balance. So we've tried to get men on board to say that they should also say that men must stop this.
I think it's calling for a partnership across the country. Amongst yourself, let's find a solution together, because really we've been dealing with this for hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of years. So you're not going to change it in 10 years, but every small step, counter.
Back on Daily Tet and listening to that contextualization from that insert of understanding the campaign of no means no. In my own experiences, and I'm sitting here and I'm asking myself as a young woman of South Africa, why didn't my no mean no?
Yeah.
Because there's been many instances where you've said no even to a partner and he sulked or he's convinced you for it to become a yes.
Yeah.
So are we now going to get to a point where South African women, all of us have gone through a similar situation, have all lived this experience of our no not actually meaning no.
Sure.
And to have this conversation, Melody, we're joined by Neon Tinte, who's the brand manager from SABC Education and spearheading the No Means No campaign. Welcome, Mama.
Yeah.
And she is joined by Mahlako Raisibe Mahapa, who's a PhD candidate, and she's doing her research in the lived experience of women in sex work. Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
And I think understand why this campaign? Why is it important we must continue to have this messaging?
Yeah. I think it's quite crucial looking at what's been happening recently, especially at universities, where our young kids, especially girls, are being killed. And when we talk about femicide, firstly what happens is rape and maybe even being beaten up and then followed by being killed. And it's been happening at a very rapid stage that it's impossible to ignore what's happening currently. As a mother, as a wife, as a sister, a child to somebody, we all go through some form of pain when somebody dies. And the message that also, that, when a perpetrator starts violating you, it's sort of like it ingrains the pain in your heart as well as in your mind.
And the normalizing of it.
And it stays forever, which is the sad part, because someone can come and say, I'm sorry. But is sorry good enough? No.
No.
Does it take away the pain? And we, as South Africans, what are we going to do about it? As SABC Education, we felt that, yes, there have been other campaigns. But do we need to stop because there have been other campaigns? I think we need to make as much noise as possible. Be the loudest. And also, in this day and age, having social media, we need to own each and every individual has to own this campaign.
That's very true.
We don't want it to be an SABC Education or an SABC campaign. We want government, private sectors, individuals, to be part of it. And also, what I feel is that for women, it is sad because you never know at what stage. Are you right or wrong? Are you allowed to say no? Because the perpetrators are your husbands, are your partners, your malume, like she said. It's basically almost everyone in the society. And it's on our campaign.
Just to really say, back to our viewer, our more daily theater. Ge dutse ko Bushbuck Ridge, ke dutse ko in KZN, ke dutse kae South Africa. What empowerment do you want this campaign to impart on a young child, whether male or female?
As SABC Education, what we are trying to do is to bring awareness. That will start a conversation on a daily basis. You don't need like lots of money or means or whatever, by just talking to you guys, talking to your neighbor, and when someone comes and cry and whisper to your ear, maybe your job is just to listen. Just to give that person that comfort. So we're saying that, we are bruised as a country and we need to help each other. This is our country and we need to make it a better place and a safe place to live in.
Unkubuza lesikhathi sikhula ngazo ukuthi we're all communal imphakathi nemphakathi bekuthi vimba bekuphuma wonke umuntu endlini, and we live in an age lamhlanje where we'd find that more and more women are coming out. We are hearing more stories from women, especially social media, and I go back to Aboma, and maybe you'll speak about it from a woman perspective, especially with your research. Uguti, how do we now encourage our parents who are still living in those dark corners? Because kuna mama who are still in those corners, who are fighting the children with these problems, because the mother is saying don't do it. How do we encourage our older groups of mothers who are in this situation?
What's one of the things I realized Tabea violence is that it's very generational. So you find that if my father or your father abused your mother, the one before that abused one. So there's a normalization that is happening. And for me, the reason why I was so touched by campaigning at SABC Education is because SABC Education is the youth, And constantly when you're talking about gender-based violence, it's the parents. Just last week, there's a 22-year-old friend of my sister, umofonete in the middle of the night, Amisha spent local ICU. Right, ICU, uko kai, umofoning the very same guy I'm meeting. Arana, afonela the parents. So this conversation amongst youth is very important, because then we're shifting it from saying, ownership, and break the cycle as the youth of gender-based violence in the household.
And also because there's this conversation about hurt people hurt others. Sometimes I think Motswadi, it's not necessarily but they themselves are harboring the same feelings. And they don't know how to communicate because we have not normalized the conversation, the dialogue. We've got a social media coming in from Daka Loma Kinya. I do not think there's a rise in gender-based violence. It's always been this bad. The reporting of violent crime is on the rise. Since I was a child, I was always scared to play outside of home. I was warned not to go out by my grandmother. Even now at 21, I'm still scared of men hiding in bushes in the dark. Even scared in the house breakings happen and women get killed. And maybe, Melody, we can perhaps bring in a young male. Siya, masifunda le social media. Uzwa intombazana, ena 21, ithi ngiyasaba ukuphuma because men are in the bush. What does that make you feel like? Because you could be somebody that might be needing to raise a daughter one day.
To hear that, it's heartbreaking actually, because some of us are not aware of the actions that we take as young men. We are actually abusing women, So reading that, because I believe with us as males, we must be of protection to women, right? And and what I would like to touch on are solutions that must be strategized to prevent such cases. For example, my previous speaker spoke of abantwana bakhula no mama, but what about abantwana abangenawo mama? Whom if first support yabo is from school, whom also the first line of support yabo can be from police station. And I've had personal experience which I shared with umuntu wesimame, saying that they went to a police station only to find a male person who is not passionate about it.
He's not compassionate.
Yes, so they can't relate. Already this person is going through trauma, and then when they go there, they also experience a second trauma.
Quick question. As out, do you speak about these things?
After this is a very sensitive issue, so the initiative that I took was to come to the program, also to learn, would see what are things that we are not aware as males as well. So I've taken an initiative to speak about this.
I say we break. Let's go break. And of course, it's Cece, who was raped at a young age. She shares the story. Let's boy. Welcome back to Daily Tete Lago SABC 1. Nkulumo yethu nabantu abasha ngezinto ezaffecta wonke umuntu, not just the young and the old. We're talking about gender-based violence, but also sikhuluma kakhulu ngokuthi the campaign that says no means no, which was launched by SABC Education. Now the key part of nkulumo yethu songena kuyona kule segment ukuthi sokhuluma nabantu who have been victims. Nentokazi who was raped at the age of 16, and when she was raped, she went through a process where she thought she was healing. So to discuss ukuthi aphumule akwazi ukuthi azibuyisa azithole. Unfortunately, was raped again in her 20s. And of course, hopefully it could help someone. Makosazana Tembe, we really thank you for coming to the show today. But also it's very important to Ube voice. But not alone, we've got another young lady who've also decided she wants to share a story. And it's more just why does it lead to violence, and how does society now make it a thing? And of course, we're joined by Ubuhle Bonte and of course Sasha, who's also here in studio. Thank you so much, ladies. I think I want to start with you because I think there's such an important thing that in society we encourage, which is love. But in your experience, as you've grown and you've chosen the lifestyle you have you felt that love that we keep encouraging in society?
I mean, we're in South Africa, you know, and we're in a country where we know that our constitution makes it very safe for queer bodies in general to live in South Africa. But the fact of the matter is people will do what they want to do. And if it's hate, they will hate. And on the topic on gender-based violence and no means no, I know how unsafe it is just as a queer body to walk on the street. Not to do anything extravagant, just walking on the streets and thinking I'm going to be safe that day. I know in being approached by men, I'm always well aware that it's never an attraction thing. It's always it's always something to do with the power dynamic. It's always to do with you should know that as a man, I hold more power than you in society. You know, I'm here to scare you.
So, just to be sure, with the view at home, to be honest, and this is talking about you being a lesbian and choosing that way of life, and someone else who could be at home who's been seen, they've chosen to be gay. And because, I mean, those are also uncomfortable things people are scared to speak about. So then this is my second question, is that do you believe that society also encourages the silence that we deal with, which now echoes the no means no sentiments that we need today?
Very, very, very much so. I think society does encourage queer bodies to be very quiet, number one, about who they are, you know, within families, within households. It's something that people wait until I get to varsity to explore. And that puts you in a less safer condition, you know, a less safer place, because you've not had, you've not been able to grow up and be molded properly. You've just jumped into something. And you're very much unaware of the unsafety that comes with just being a queer body. You know?
And maybe the fact that, I mean, whether you're a queer body or not, at the end of the day, you're still a woman, a young woman in this country, right? Go in, take us maybe just before we get to Makosazana, just a quick lived experience of being a woman in this country and having to fight just to have your voice heard. What are you experiencing?
Being a woman in this country and trying to be heard is like, I can't even piece it together, you know. before everything else. I think as a woman, your no, your yes, your truth is always taken a little lighter than what's taken from a man. You know, you're always taken less seriously, and I guess that comes from the way people were raised. Not even the way girls were raised, but the way boys were raised too. The way people were raised in general. To know that, yeah, women are speaking, but you know, they're emotional creatures. Yeah, no. So yeah, that's the general view of a woman.
Because then this is what I want to bring you in. I mean, since 2015 in South Africa, we've seen a huge uprise in people coming out publicly on social media. We've seen young girls who have died at the hands of their boyfriends and husbands, celebrity who are being abused for years. And today we live in an age whereby what you're doing is plausible, and there's more people about Pumai. Take us through your story as a young girl who at some point was
you know, it saddens me that even today we're still talking about this and nothing has happened. You understand? I was raped, by the way, when I was 19, and I was raped again when I was 24.
Sure.
I-rape, I sugi emntwini. I-rape ifike ihlale emntwini, ifike izenze umuntu. Because before, even when I was raped, I was abused ngimncane.
Sure.
Abo malume, fake malume, mawuhamba ulala lana, abo malume bakubamba ma private parts, uyabona into ezinjalo. Abo malume sometimes mawulele uthi uyalala, umalume uthola ukuthi uyakukhulula. Abantu obobathembile ukuthi labantu laba bazongiprotecta. But mawuvuka ebusuku uthola lo muntu lo ufuna ukukhumula ukutshela amagama amakhulu. And the way that we were raised, besingakhona ukukhuluma then, bowusabe kuyetshela ukuthi gogo umalume ezibani uzile wathi ngikhumule sizoyenza so, because ugogo uzokushayela number 1 ukuthi legama ulazela kuphi legama olukhulumayo. So I never even reported the rapes, but it's something that ezenami ngikhule nayo lento lena. I understand into njalo. I became very, very suicidal. I've tried to end my life twice. Uyayibona into njalo. I became an alcoholic. Bengiphuza kusho ukuthi crack bengayiphuza ngicede yonke yotshwala ngalendlela bengingakhona. I became a prostitute out of this, you understand? Bese ngihamba ngizilahlele emadodeni noma kanjani, ngenza noma yini, ngifuna ukufa. Uyayibona into njalo ngoba lento ayisuki. But you know, mangicala ngithi ngiyamamela ngibona abanye abomama bayakhuluma and bayaphila and basane. Uyayibona into njalo and bayazama ukwenza. So this campaign, no means no, I think it has to go back to us women as well.
Because I just want to come in there. At what age did your no get silenced? Do you feel your no was silenced?
You know, to tell you the truth, I don't even think I've had even a right to have a no. Growing up as a girl child.
And why did you feel that way?
Because I was never attention being a kogimi. How do you feel? You understand? No mizinto zenzeka right unjani. Right now thina abantwana bethu mababuye eChrist abacheka ngaphansi bengingabuza ukuthi njengoba kuphuzwa la endlini kunabo malume abangako ungabazi right na uyayibona into njalo hamba esikoleni ubuye
endlini ukwazile ukuthi like njengoba usobikile ukuthi it was hard, but did you eventually find usisi ukazini mhlawumbe ihlobo sakini or umuntu ohlalela ekudeni kodwa nje ukuthi ubhodle isifuba ukuthi yazini kunenkinga?
Yeah. The first thing that I did, and this is very, very strange, ngangithi mangicala ngibukela iTV ngizwa abantu bakhuluma ngathatha itext ngayiJoburg ngazihlalela nomunye umama othengisela amazambane ngamtshela zonke indaba zami because I was bese ngifuna vele ukufa ngamtshela zonke indaba zami because bengisaba ukukhuluma nabantu ngisaba ukuthi bazongihleba maybe abangani bami or iboyfriend izongilahla or maybe yabana yazini lona awusathandeki because then istigma serebe ukuthi wena awusintombazane right vele wena untombazana maybe you deserved it because vele uyabona buyakhosha uyabona into enjalo. So that's the first thing that I did. Ngahamba ngakhuluma nomuntu ongangazi ngamtshela lento engaphakathi kwami because I felt ukuthi lento mele ukuthi iphume because iyangibulala lento and ngilala nayo ngivuka nayo. So this campaign no means no. Women no must just be no. I know awunamali, I know kusasa mawunemali, no must just be no.
And maybe we can bring in Mahlako there because Makhosazana would say something would say something that is very, for me, sparked a light because we say my no might make me lose a boyfriend. So it's not only negotiated on the side of the men to say no. We also have to now negotiate my meal that comes on the table. You know, the love and affection that I'm supposed to be getting from this person. That can be taken away. How do we navigate that?
You know, the most interesting thing about myself and, you know, the way I embody this thing is I live amongst women who are in sex work. I work amongst prisoners who have been arrested for being perpetrators. I work within the justice system of the courts that are supposed to then be sentencing these people for these particular, you know, arrests. And the most important and most crucial thing that I've learned personally living amongst women in sex work is the narrative is never just one. Yes, no is no, Mara. We must appreciate experiences from every single party. So guys, there's one woman that can say, I got into sex work because I was abused as a child and I want to just let go of my body. There's another one that has a dialogue that says, I got into sex work because if this thing is going to happen anyways, and if sex is sex, I might as well have food on the table. There's another one that says, Mara, if you look at tellers, I've worked as a teller, and there's a sense of empowerment that they receive from this thing, you know. So I just want us to be careful in immediately associating women in sex work and the choice that they've made with particularly a history that they've been abused. Because at the same time, in prison, funny enough, a lot of the men that I've spoken to that have been arrested were raped as men.
Sure. And ngikuhlungu kakhulu kanjalo because abantu besilisa nabo njengoba uhlele ekhaya kumalume kubaba abantu ehlala nabo ngicela ukuthi besibuye ku-ad break sikwazi ukuxoxa kancane ukuthi how do we solve these things emphakathini. We need to find a way out of this, but for now, quick ad break. Welcome back to Daily Thetha ku SABC 1. Siqhubeka nenkulumo yethu lana kulesibili. Siqhubeka nje kubuhlungu inhliziyo abanye banyanyile abanye bahlele ekhaya. They don't know how to feel because in everything esikhulume ngayo lamhlanje there's so many questions ukuthi kusho ukuthi that happened and now I want to speak. Where do I go? What do I do? I think it was very important for us then to head out and reach out to abantu abadala, people who work with this in extension. Of course, ngicela ukuthi samukele uMam Sibongile Hlobatla who is in studio. She of course works from Katlehong, talking about mental care in our society, talking about abantu abasha. And quickly, before I can just introduce Javu Baloyi, who's also going to extend this conversation, I want to start Ekai. I mean, I'm from Katlehong, and I can tell you the amount of alcohol abuse that I saw that led to gender-based violence was immense. Like bebaningi abantu sibabuka benza izinto. And into engishaka kakhulu ma ukuthi abazali bethu saw it, right? And bebayibona ma mentally bobuye ekhaya uthi awukho right, and bathi manje thina endlini senze njani, hamba ubona udokotela, and financially you couldn't afford. How do we start approaching these things as abantu abasha, as ulutsha lasemzansi?
I think, thank you so much. I think we have to start by talking. Open channels of communication. Have somebody next to you ozorelaya kuye, ozomtrusta ukuthi mangikhuluma ngine problem, because drinking alcohol, partying akusho ukuthi mhlambe you are bored or what. There is something also you are running away from.
Sure.
And then you want to be late at night outside ekhaya, and then you come back, and then at the end of the day you come across izinkinga lezi zabo rape, abuse and everything. Yes, you are right. I am from Katlehong Kanya Family Center. We work as psychologists. We've got psychologists, qualified psychologists. We have my interns, psychologists. We also have qualified senior social workers who have been in industry for a long time, maybe more than 30, 40 years. We see that. We see people coming, abantwana coming, bangay yeskolweni, grannies, abo mama. It's like the whole society is tired. The society is complaining, but they are not. We're not hearing their voices. So they are complaining maybe to wrong places or wrong people, and then people at the young age come to us, and then when they start telling stories, telling you where it started, then you realize it has been going on and on. By the time they come to us, it's either they've tried suicide, attempted once or twice. We are dealing with it on day-to-day basis, which is also traumatic to us. And yes.
Ms. Bongile, just as you are speaking, abatse bo rena ba di report kae ka abatse bo rena ba bla le mang gona le social media e kena from Mivuyo Sibe ore I've never seen one campaign work in South Africa. These are just attention seeking stunts. The problem is not with the victims but it is with our law. People report but the law fails them. And ke batlo kensa papa Jabu mo gore as the Gender Equality Commission lona le reng ka molao.
Mulawari South Africa, it's not, there are systemic issues which the Gender Commission has realized. Cases of gender-based violence, it takes forever to prosecute. And also the secondary victimization. Look at the Omotoso case now. And you look at the cases, go to Tokoza now. All the cases of gender-based violence are being... There's a lady also in Hammanskraal who was shot and left to die for 7 years.
Re-victimization. Kupung explain le gore kam ka re gone go ikushisha gore na ge motho ba re ra mo re-victimize.
Re-victimizer, a person in the sense like, let's say maybe we are go police station, let's say Hillbrow police station, like my sister over here who was talking, and sorry for the experience she suffered. When you were here. Secondly, how was big? Was the person other things? And then now those things on yourself. And then you don't want even to go back to the police station and want to go through the case. Secondly, the person 2 minutes out by the street, and then you can't do me anything. Or when I'm outside, or maybe the worst part, we are at the police station. The person of it. It means it means someone who is inside. It means it's our system. It means our ethics within some of the police officers. That's why Gender Commission now, what we have done, we have subpoenaed the leadership of the SAPS from the National Police Commission already. Not once, 3 times. What are we doing on the ground? Because we assume, as these police officers, they just got matrix, some of them. I don't understand some of them. And that's a problem. No, but I understand why you want a problem on the ground because problem as one go police. Problem go class police station we are mobona ba busy ba dira manala we are mobona ba busy ba tla ba butsa ba re tla bona melody go o betule go tsatsi o tla bo tla bona se ngwana wa mapulane ke yena ne re sa tsebe le jabo wa tla mo ke problem ya attitudinal behavior on the side of the police. That's where we got it wrong.
But by the way, I mean, I'm going to take out a profession and zobuyisa kancane ma bese ngizobuya in just in one. Mina inkinga enginayo ukuthi I mean, I'm a victims. Already victimized by the police system. Secondly, they're victimized endlini. Let's say I know a friend, umngani, onalenkinga. How do you suggest I assist from a psychological aspect, but also from a societal aspect? So,
thank you. I think you are so right, Melody, because it's like your secondary trauma. You end up not saying anything. And you keep your anger inside and your attitude and people, because your behavior will change. And then as a family, as a friend, will see that Melody uchangile. She's not like before. Melody and that's when umgana should listen to you. Because you need attentive listening. Not judging you, not talking where we are and all that. I heard but I think you have to listen and not judge. Just be there and listen, being a continuum support. From there, you can say, so Mame, I think, tell Amarizis, you need to report this. We need to do something. If they didn't help you at police station, if they didn't, we have our facilities. Maybe talk to a professional. Maybe start there, because we'll see that we work with about Tutuzela, work with other people. And then because if rape is not reported, you slightly sure to be most of the time a perpetrator yourself, because nobody cared about you, nobody took you seriously.
Also, so it's almost trickling down.
Yes, now you feel I'm dirty. Nobody will, I mean, it's like I've caused it. You self-blame, guilt feelings. I'm not good enough. And then that's why you change the behavior. So your friend, your family should look at for those signs and say, but we change it. We are here as Kenya Family Center and other social workers and professionals out there to listen.
I just want to maybe ask more, so can you please pass the mic to Ariel? And maybe listening to what Mas Bongile is saying, she's speaking about if somebody as a friend is going through the same process as you, listening is the most important thing. Do you think that we as young people have the time, the qualification to be able to listen just to a friend who's going through a lot?
Yeah.
So, thank you.
Just hold the mic up for me, please. Yes, thank you.
So, I think the question is almost flawed in that how is it a question that we have time to listen to others?
Yes.
This is what contributes to this issue.
Yes.
Since when should we not have the time to actually listen to what someone's going through? If they have the confidence to actually, and the bravery to come up to you and say, I'm going through something, who are you to possibly say, I don't have time? That's not part of the conversation. Everyone has the time.
Yeah, I just want us to be in a reality for people in South Africa. I mean, we're always on our phones, you know, social media is where we live, you know. I mean, Mas Bongile is speaking about being able to recognize, do you actually, would you be able to recognize it? Maybe you can pass it on to her because she's agreeing with you. She wants to say something there. Do you even have the time to recognize that Melody, something is not right with Melody? We barely say hello to each other.
I think also with this is that so often we are reacting to this issue. I mean, we've waited South Africa for it to get so bad for gender-based violence to be a campaign. And sometimes we shouldn't just wait for people to come to us, but rather we should go to them. When we ask someone, how are you? Ask them properly, how are you? Not just, how are you? And when it comes to no means no, it's also not just about when someone asks you a question that you say no, but when your friends make silly comments and jokes about women, it's about calling them out and saying no. That not just waiting for someone to ask you the question and to get to that point, but rather to prevent, rather to be proactive as opposed to reactive.
Sure. That's so brilliant. She's so brilliant because uza nalo mlilo lo usudingayo ukuthi umuntu omusha baba mama esekhaya iqala ngamagama esiwabiza ngabantu besifazane iqala ngamagama esibiza ingane kodwa kwamanje sicela ukuthi ungakhothi ungasifonela ku 011 339 1315 besibuya soqhubeka indaba yethu.
Welcome back to Daily Teta. If it's a join no means no, and it's SABC education campaign against gender-based violence, assault, every single thing South Africa is not supposed to be happening. And we can't keep blaming tradition, we can't keep blaming culture, we can't keep blaming religion. And we want to reintroduce the concept, especially from a young age, when a no is a no, it's a no, it's a no. It doesn't mean anything else. And maybe perhaps we can come back to you, Papa Jabu. Just iterating, how do we heal that brokenness so that we can move to a point where we reintroduce concept no. Right now, a person like Makhosazana as the Gender Equality Commission.
People like Makhosazana, thank you very much for the question. People like Makhosazana, the Gender Commission is mandated by the Constitution. It's got stronger mandate. We have got powers over every entity in South Africa. So she can report the case back to us if she felt hard done by. And secondly, the most important aspect is that we must recognize campaigner with SNEO. Because if they can be funded and civil society organizations can be funded, because they're the voices on the ground. And also strong enough if leaders, like the president said in parliament, that we do not have to trivialize gender-based violence. And we need to speak out because, like yesterday, I'm sorry to bring you, yesterday we had 48 women who were forcefully sterilized, their dignity impaired. At the commission, we launched a report, it's all over, it's being spoken about. Because they did speak out. Some didn't want to speak out. And now they're going to get the recourse because they did speak out. But justice shouldn't be hedged, but should be seen to be waiting for everyone in South Africa.
But thinking, Ila, for someone who's reported a case, case disappears, docket goes missing. And And I'm now saying, what is the commission doing to re-energize the person Osaka Cartel? I mean, to make an example. And mind you, to come to you, are you really drawing, are there enough, notifications so that young people know that if all fails, we can come to you and be assisted?
Yes, there's lots of notification. There are lots of cases that we have assisted. The one in Hammaskral, it was thrown out of court for 7 years. It was there. We brought it back. The husband, the estranged husband, sentenced to life because of there's a case in Tokoza. There's a lady who was killed, Kersani Ngobeni in Alexandra. The case was thrown. The guy apparently was well-known, connected. But the case is back on the roll because the commission can and will able to assist where possible. We follow these cases through. We've got investigators. We work with the police, and we bring the police. They will look for the docket. Now they've got a system that is working within the police. And what I'm urging South Africans and people who are here, use campaigns like Usesneo and go through them as a door. Said they will partner with us. We'll work with the Masaku and others. We are working with the Department of Justice. Everyone work. We are no longer in South Africa. We're no longer working in silos. We're working in unison now.
You know what I love what you're saying is now going to the part of responsibility from Abantabasha. I want to bring in the young people. What is your suggestion? Now we're talking about changing our own environments. Our parents are not when these things happen. We're amongst friends. What do you suggest?
Thank you. My name is Shannon Wardlaw, and firstly, I'd like to correct you, Melody, on something you said earlier. Being a queer person, much like being a woman, is not a chosen lifestyle. And what we need to learn from that is that there are many, many victim faces, but there's only one perpetrator, and that is the violent man. So what do we need to do to address the violence in men now? I worry that reform and education is going to take too long. I say men should be participating in call-out culture. There should be more protests to raise awareness for this issue and to bring about some kind of urgency against gender-based violence.
Do you believe the protests change anything?
I believe the protest starts something, and that's what's important.
Maybe, Melody, I can pose a question to my brother there. My brother, the message, Eric, speak out, speak out, speak out. And most of the time it falls on the victim to speak out. Lona, as people that can support us, what are you saying? What must we speak out? Are we still telling women not to wear short skirts? Are we still telling women, what are we saying?
Yeah, I wouldn't say I'm a female, they must stop wearing short skirts and everything. I think now the problem is within the government. I'll go back to e-government because of, the perpetrators, life sentences, but they don't go back to the Abantu, about victimize you, so I think issue la ukuthi kubuyele back to labantu labo bancedwe futhi
iyangihlukumeza le ndaba government but I mean I'll tell you why, because at the end of the day the perpetrator is not the government. The perpetrator is in society. The perpetrator the perpetrator is somebody that I know very well. Government what are we saying? Please give it to the sister next to you.
Mina ikamla mutebo khonkomane. But what I'm trying to emphasize right now, nimzulu puti uti government, you're in a problem. For my side, government are in a problem. The government have so far tried uti address this issue. As you can see, like fine. As a law student, I have a basic knowledge here, a constitution. So our constitution in 1996. By Kulumugu fine. There's a chapter 2 of Bill of Rights. La Kulumugu fine. Everybody has the right to equality. Which means, fine. Sonke sine right yoguti whether you're a man, whether you're a woman. But this goes hand in hand, how the society approaches this thing. Because of society too. But I'm sorry to say this, but it's true. They don't take from umuntus fazan.
Hey, Sisom, why should we be so aksamanga in the corner? Well, this cat is playing. Let's go look everyone who came Watarapan tonight. And of course, don't forget, the campaign is called No Means No. And this is led by SABC Education. You'll hear it on radio. Zoibona TV. We'll be part of the solution.
Which part of no do you not understand? The N or the O? You need to decide, because it needs all of us to get involved in this united message so that we can bring change to South Africa. Tomorrow, Melody, 10:30 to 11 o'clock. Body positivity.
Thank you very much.